the final panel, and time is again short. And during the whole day, we have been discussing about AI. It has permeated all the discussions. So I'm wondering what you will be added to this particular panel. So let's start by one discussing what you are doing in your particular organization and how AI is impacting the operations. So starting with the extreme left.
So it is. Hi, thank you. Basically, at our space, we believe that within the K-12 sector especially, there's what we call a creativity crisis. So we're trying to combat that with the customized program certifications, and how we leverage AI right now is through an adaptive software, right, which caters to different and distinct student needs and students' strengths and weaknesses. So we're using that, we're using tools that help our mentors author courses really quickly. So something that would take them 8 weeks takes them 2, right? So we're trying to enable both learners and mentors within the organization.
Hi, I'm Dr. Nachiket. So basically, I'm the CEO of TBMCI. We are into a very niche segment in our country. We teach doctors who are preparing for their specialization exam. We are a 27-year-old company. Currently, we are into both EdTech as well as offline space, one of the very few in our particular segment. And we have around 2.5 lakh users on our app on a daily basis, with almost 65,000 students who have enrolled with us in this course, in our courses. And we have setups around 100 cities across the country. And I think that's it. Thank you.
If you may also add about the AI aspect, how has AI made a difference in the last few years to your operations?
I think one of the best things about AI is that it has helped scale our grading systems efficiently. Considering the fact that we are an old school company, started back by my father back in 1996. Around 1 lakh students attempt our test on a yearly basis. So we have seen the conventional way where the student used to come, give our test and simply go back and wait for the results, which used to come after 3 to 4 days or maybe a week. And then they would come and see their ranks on a piece of paper that is put on notice board. We have seen the change going from that to a place where students simply gets to the test, does the test, gets the complete analytics, कितने क्वेश्चन सही करें, कितने गलत किए, बेसिक वाला, उसके बाद आपके वीक पॉइंट्स क्या है, और उस वीक पॉइंट के बेसिस पे आपको ऐप खुद बता रही है कि अब आपका अगला स्टेप, जो बेसिकली पर्सनलाइज्ड लर्निंग की तरफ बढ़ता है, कि आपका अगला स्टेप आपको किस चीज को और ज्यादा ध्यान देने की जरूरत है. तो स्टूडेंट का जो पूरा 1 हफ्ते का सफर था, जो उसको घर जाके दिमाग लगाना पड़ता था कि यार अब मैं अगली चीज क्या करूं, उसको खुद देखना पड़ता था किताब में जाके क्या ये क्वेश्चन गलत हुआ तो मैं इस टॉपिक को दोबारा पढ़ूंगा, वो आपको एआई खुद बता रहा है. यानी दैट होल टाइम पीरियड हैज बीन कट डाउन टू सेकंड्स. रिजल्ट आपके टेस्ट के इमीडिएटली बाहर आ रहा है, और उसी से अगर मैं एक बात करूं तो हमारे सारे बच्चे डॉक्टर्स होते हैं, तो उनके पास टाइम की वैसे भी कमी है. तो अगर आज हम उनका टाइम इतना ज्यादा बचा सकते हैं, I think that's the best impact that AI is having on our field. And उसके बाद of course the personalized learning. हम अगर आज देखें तो हर एक स्टूडेंट चाहता है कि उसकी स्ट्रेंथ और वीकनेस को देखकर उसके साथ पढ़ाई की जाए, उसको पढ़ाया जाए. तो अगर आज मुझे एक चीज अच्छे से आती है, मैं उसी में फिर अपना टाइम लगा रहा हूँ, तो हर स्टूडेंट उसको आज एक टाइम वेस्ट की तरह मानता है. आज AI ने हम सबको एक मौका दिया है कि स्टूडेंट की वीकनेस पे ध्यान देकर उसका जेन्युइनली में रिजल्ट बढ़ाया जाए, ताकि उसका हर एक सेकंड उसकी ग्रोथ में काम. तो आई थिंक दीज आर द 2 मेन थिंग्स जिसके अंदर एआई ने हेल्प किया. और ऑफ कोर्स उसके बाद एक सिंपल चैटबॉट में स्टूडेंट की जितनी टेक प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं, ऐप नहीं चल रहा, कुछ भी दिक्कत आ रही है, किसी हमारे यहाँ छोटी सी चीज करी हमने जिसके अंदर चैटबॉट के अंदर हमने फैकल्टी को लाइन करना शुरू कर दिया. नॉर्मली हमारे यहाँ सारे जो फैकल्टीज होते हैं डॉक्टर्स आल्सो सुपर स्पेशलाइज्ड इन एवरीथिंग, तो उनके साथ में जब स्टूडेंट अलाइन हुआ तो उसको समझ में आया कि क्वेरी भी अगेन इट इज नाउ अ 10-minute टास्क टू गेट अ क्वेरी सॉल्व. सो आई थिंक ये बहुत छोटी-छोटी चीजें हैं जिन्होंने स्टूडेंट की तरफ हमको और कुछ किया कि स्टूडेंट की जेन्युइन में हम ग्रोथ कैसे करा सकते.
Srishty. Hi everyone, I'm Srishty. I'm the founder and CEO of Collearn Education. What is Collearn? Collearn is basically a sports edtech platform. We help people become sports analysts, sports commentators, journalists, scientists, social media managers, sports event managers and place them in companies such as Rajasthan Royal, Delhi Capital, KKR, ESPNs. We're backed by Google and I'm Bangalore. How do we use AI? I mean, from last 6 to 8 months, in our organization level, we've been using this to automate our processes. We have designed a foolproof screening system using AI. All the trainers are designing their curriculum using AI, and even at verticals like social media and all, we heavily use AI. And I would say that 30% of our time and the efforts and the resources have been saved just because of using AI. The redundant works, today I don't have to hire a big agency. My intern can do that using AI. So it has helped us intensively. And going forward, we are planning to have our own chatbot, a grading system where we can use AI to ascertain a student's capability and map them with the required companies.
Hello, I am Dr. Nitya Prakash. Before I talk about AI and about the organization I represent, I would like to redefine what AI means to me. And AI is actually academia and industry. When we make a bridge, we make it from both the ends. Right? And generally what happens is in academia and industry, these both the ends will never meet. That's why we have the policies like National Education Policy, we have National Higher Education Qualifications Framework right now. And the sole intention of making these two policies and the framework was to bridge that gap between the two. So what AI is actually doing is trying to make sure that what the industry requires and what the academia is teaching, they are able to bridge that gap. So I represent an organization, we have been leaders in the field of technical training for the past 30 years, Indian Institute of Hardware Technology. And then we realized while we were going to institutions and hiring fresh graduates for some top level organizations like IBM, Google, Microsoft, we realized that there is a dire need of a platform that can bridge the gap, the learning gap for the academician. And that's when we came up with an idea of Techademy Campus, which is a platform which was built by academicians for the academicians, and it uses AI in its core. So I believe that the most important aspect for us to understand is to make sure that we are not only bridging that gap, but also making it easier for the main segment, which is the student as well as for teachers.
Good evening, I'm Charan Lakkaraju. I'm the founder of a company called Student Tribe. So, before getting into the AI and education part, how English language without any vowels, A, E, I, O, U, there is no meaning if you don't have AI today in education. So, we need to keep how can we put in again and again. From the morning, as you rightly said, there is no panel without the mention of AI actually. But where are we trying to do? So we are a strong student community in Tier 2 and Tier 3. We are close to 500,000 students now. The biggest back-end component of building any LLM is the data sets. And this data sets have to be acquired by people who are normal, it is very costly affair to get all the data sets. We are currently working with a lot of companies which are on the vernacular language models. Today we are talking about ChatGPT again and again, but India is a diverse country where we need this vernacular language models, where there are a lot of work which is being happening. We will see the results in the next 1.5 to 2 years, where we have a Punjabi or a Telugu or a Malayalam ChatGPT or kind of an AI model, where there are a lot of potential, where the mass, the Bharat of India, the real Bharat beyond India, where the AI will reach and help them to solve major problems. So, as students from the Tier 2, Tier 3 colleges, we've been creating an AI workforce by creating hackathons, and we are a distribution network where a lot of technical people, where the real people are in the Tier 2 colleges of India who have to work on the AI rather than just thinking about using AI, but building AI is the most important thing. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Shailendra. I run a company called, the name is Smart Graduation Private Limited, but better known as Collearn. We are one of the biggest private tutoring platform, not just serving in India, but more than 10 plus countries. We have around 20,000 active students learning from us, all coming from school group, like from grade 1 to grade 10. And we provide courses in skills which we think somewhere schools misses out, like maths, Vedic maths, coding, now finance we have started. Um, how AI is helping us? So it has. I think AI has been very old discussion, but with the launch of ChatGPT, it's something that got a lot of attention of people. That it's something that can really change things in a big way. We use AI in two levels. One is to do the things we already do in a much more efficient and effective manner. Like if we have to create content for classrooms. So today we can tell AI that I will teach this concept and I want to conduct some activities in the class. We give the full context to AI and it will suggest you 5 activities. And then your team can build on that. Like still there's a human involved, but the idea generation part has become much faster, which none of the technologies earlier were able to do. Second level of application that we're doing, luckily we directly work with students and the biggest thing that the students subscribe for is the teacher's time. And AI first time is a technology which can actually mimic human to a great extent. So we are using our over 10 crore minutes of live learning classes we have delivered till date. We are using this data to fine tune the models so that it can mimic teacher. It won't replace the teacher. I don't think teachers can be replaced, at least not in the next 10 years. But it's like an extra teacher that is there, which is always available to the students. So they take classes from our teachers, which are trained by us, and then they can go back to the our teaching assistant and revise a concept, learn a new concept, or ask it out. So there's two ways we are using AI, and I do think education can be one of the biggest vertical use cases for AI, for sure. Seeing the skilling gap that is not just available in India, that's not just evident in India, but it's actually a global problem. Right?
Manisha, मैंने दानिश को 10 बार बोला फिर coming back to you, whatever I said, 20% of your the team's time will be saved. But in terms of to begin with, the kind of training that is required for the team itself, what efforts went into that? Oh, huge efforts went into that. We became so efficient that we developed a module for our existing students to undergo the training of AI. We actually have a module for all the sports students to take AI classes, which is part of their curriculum, whether they are becoming an analyst or a commentator or a journalist, they still have to go through AI. So we became so efficient, but it took us time. It really took us time. It's not as easy as it said, and it's not that tough as well. But it takes time to basically learn that. It takes time to basically learn the algorithm, and I myself have put in a lot of efforts along with a lot of team members. And now I think whenever a new joinee comes to the team, we are good enough to teach him or her in a day or two. Same question to Gauri. What has been the effort in your team?
For us, basically, the first thing that we usually look at when we're onboarding mentors, right, is some capability within instruction design. Because even to apply knowledge within AI, you need to have that foundational knowledge, right? So obviously, the team effort has been cut down massively because really what we used to have to do is sit down together, see key curriculum kya banega. If we get a student and we're making a fresh curriculum for them, it gets very, very tense also, and it gets a lot harder to do, right? Now what we do is we just sit down together over a couple of days, decide what direction we want to take it in, author the course using the tools we have, and then we just sit together, reconvene, see what's the outcome, and then go from there. Also, we tweak the curriculum beach mein. If we feel the student needs something else and we want to change it, so that becomes easier to do as well. But major human capital has been reduced. So we're very happy about that.
The question that I have for you is, what are the kind of mental blocks that initially overcame in the team, and how did you address them? There would have been some quarters where the acceptance would have been lesser than people who are really engaged in technology.
I think absolutely that happens. People suddenly get insecure that AI will take their jobs away. I mean, if I start with the content creators, when you start implementing AI in your app, the first thing they actually tend to do is they tend to find mistakes what AI is doing. because they themselves are feeling insecure. उनका लग रहा है AI job मिलेगा तो हम कहाँ चलेंगे? So you can tell them that AI is just a mean to make the students growth better, and you can never replace the original teacher. जब तक टीचर पढ़ाएगा नहीं बच्चा सीखेगा कैसे? तो एंड में अगर हमारा देश ट्यूशन क्लासेस में चलता है, अगर ट्यूशन चल रही है तो बच्चे पढ़ते रहेंगे उससे. And second, of course, if I go to the care team, the customer care team, the moment we implemented chatbot, we could sense that there is a huge apprehension in the team that the job is at a highest level of security. And we went ahead and we saw that how we can implement our current team with AI. It took some time, but of course there's a lot of training involved. There needs to be a question between the chatbot and the people that are running the chatbot. So through time of that, we actually managed to do that.
I want to ask you, because AI is a buzzword, everybody is talking about it, but the understanding about the whole domain, the whole subject, I'm sure it's still new to most of us. What are the misconceptions that exist that you would like to address?
I think the most important thing, and I think in the morning session also we did discuss that. A lot of teachers actually feel that the AI is going to replace them. It's not going to happen. Like if you look at it, when calculator came, that point of time people thought that it's going to replace how mathematicians teach and learn. But you still, if you want to use a calculator, you still would require to learn basic mathematics. The same way, AI is a tool which will augment learning and which will help the teachers as well as the learners both of them. So it totally depends how they are going to use it effectively. Because when we are starting to use it, there will be some pros and cons as well. But this misconception basically is about how effective and efficient you are. If you are not a good teacher, definitely AI is going to replace you. Because we are working, in fact our organization is working on a concept called Professor AI, in which all the concepts which we feel can be taught with the help of AI, we are creating a professor chatbot which will help augment the learning curve of a student. Because you cannot get an access to a teacher at 12 o'clock at night. For that, at that point of time, you would require somebody who can assist you in your learning. So we are trying to help them get it better, but this misconception, if you look at it, it will take some time. And it's just like what we did in the field of technology. AI will be accepted, but considering the most important aspect is how effectively you will be utilized. It is a boom. It is a curse for somebody who misutilizes it.
As I said, that this is just the beginning, and obviously technology is being upgraded every day, and one has to keep abreast of the latest changes every day. How do you see that kind of mechanism where an individual is able to upgrade their skills regularly?
So it's like, the whole skill gap which we keep talking about. Why do the skill gap exist? Because if someone says that we will decrease the skill gap in the industry and academia, that is never possible. It's always like the industry is always at a faster pace. The second thing, what we need to do, especially in the terms of the technologies or the emerging technologies like AI, it is all about how do we involve the academia or the faculty. Now, there was a very funny story which I wanted to share here. There's a very big company, I'll take the company name to ServiceNow, which was teaching, which understood that okay, they have a lot of clients, they were setting up the capacity centers in India, and they said they wanted to train a lot of students. Then someone in the HR or L&D team told that okay, how can we teach so many students about the upgraded skills? Let's choose 2 faculty in every college and train them on the ServiceNow and get them certified. And they have chosen 50 colleges and the 100 faculty people were trained on ServiceNow and they were certified. And now they thought these 2 faculty will go back to the college and train. And after 6 months, the HR wanted to report how many students got trained. He didn't even get more than 50 people. Then there was a report that the 100 people who were certified, 80 people applied for jobs and left. So the 80 faculty people who are certified with ServiceNow, who were trained, didn't remain as academicians first because they got a better pay and they left a better opportunity. Sometimes, most of the time, when you have to be updated in the campus, most of the cases it is not possible. So what we need to do is how can we create those funneling sessions? How can we create those hackathons where there is a cross mechanism where there is certain upskilling happens through role.
It's not just about scaling of the students. I mean, it's a case of lifelong learning. Those who are in the job, those who are, above a certain age, but AI really requires that kind of lifelong skilling. What kind of, ecosystem exists at the moment in the country for that kind of skilling or creation?
I think, like you asked the first question regarding how can you keep learning when the technology is being updated every day. It has been like this since last 2-3 decades, and people actually graduated 20 years ago are doing something else today. So it's not a skill gap, but it's more of an attitude gap. And today, remaining up to date for the new latest technology is much easier than it was maybe 15 or 20 years ago because the internet is there. I know a lot of people who have self-learned generative AI. They have learned that how even the functional models work. Even though they are not right now working on the functional models, they are mostly working on fine-tuning the models that are developed by Facebook, Gamma by Facebook, OpenAI, which ChatGPT by OpenAI. So they are fine-tuning that, but they have self-learned a lot of things. So it's more about giving that confidence to people, and possibly a new approach that is coming up, especially for the technologies that updates very fast, is the community level. On the blockchain, there were very active communities, and whoever was teaching blockchain was making communities because only communities can remain updated so fast. Of course, by the time you finish it, things have changed. So yeah, there are a lot of communities on. I'm not sure any tech is doing that, but there are a lot of communities on Twitter, X.com, and different platforms. So that is one way to go, but it's more of an attitude gap, not really a skill gap.
Sure.
Meha, I wanted to add something. Like you were asking that how the edtechs are preparing people for skills, right? So in our organization, we have come up with a very unique concept. The actual GER for India is 27.1% right now, and that too for an age group of 18 to 23. That means out of every 4 Indians, only one goes for higher education in India. The actual number, if you look at it, if you consider students from 18 to 40 years of age, the number is even bigger. So what we have done in our organization is we have come up with a very data-driven AI model, which we call a targeted GER model. So you must have seen recently Ayodhya Ram Mandir happened, and there was a huge airport that came up in Ayodhya. So this airport, the decision actually came 7-8 years ago that they wanted to build an airport over there, right? All of a sudden, it's not like that they will come up with an airport. So the most important part of any project is 30% is labor. That also means skills are required in order to do that job. So when there is an airport which is coming up, you need to prepare your students or the institutions of that area, especially Ayodhya, they need to prepare their students to get a job in that airport which is about to come up. That is how we need to link our education system for the jobs which are going to be in demand in the market. Otherwise, what will happen is somebody from Chandigarh, Punjab will go and work in Ayodhya at a very low package, and he will even find it very difficult to survive with that kind of package. So, in our organization, we have created a targeted GER for the next 5 to 10 years for the technology, for the skill sets which are going to be in demand in those specific pin codes of India. So, say for example, if I am sitting over here in Delhi, so we will be able to come up with those skill sets through that data and through the government schemes, that what is going to be the requirement in terms of the skill set and what is the organization or an institution should be teaching in their institution. So that is how we can bridge that.
I really want some time for question answer also. So quickly, if we can have one round of what is that one challenge that you see in terms of implementation of AI? Starting from here.
So for us, the first challenge we had was skills and parents. full disclosure, I'm around 27 now. I started 3 years ago. So as a 24-year-old entrepreneur, if I went to parents and said, "आपके बच्चे को AI से हम writing सिखाएंगे," तो कोई नहीं मानता. After a couple of years, when we built enough credibility, it's easier to convince them and tell them what the actual uses and the benefits are. So for us, it was consumer perception. That was the first thing we had to work on changing, because up until now, we've been doing everything with human capital, right? Actual humans were putting in energy to speak to them, do curriculum, building every single thing. So वो shift thoda, that reliance and leading them over that reliance, that was our first challenge. We're still working through it, but yeah.
I think the biggest challenge with AI was the development part. The cost of developing the AI yourself. I mean, I'm not a funded company, and it is very huge. And finding good developers in a place like Delhi is a tough task. I mean, when you see a Bangalore-based same edtech companies, they are using AI like crazy. And when I tried to implement the same thing in Delhi, the cost was almost double with half the people. So I think that was one of the biggest challenges, and of course the training part was there. And the best part again was that the consumers were more than happy to implement AI in their daily curriculum and preparation part. So I think that was one part which bigger edtech companies had made it easy for us. But the development cost, it was huge. It is still huge.
For us, it was more about the fear of technology, of new technology. We always deny. Even today, I think just like that, he gave the example of calculators. Then we had computers coming in. Then we had mobile phones, right? From 1600 plus. Years, these things are going there. And today, when computers came, people thought that we will not be, they will not be as prevalent as today, right? And today we will not have anybody who doesn't have computer or who doesn't know computer. Excuse me, can we have? There is some noise at the back, please. Yeah. So for fear of technology was first thing. For us, the best part was when we trained our existing students, which was free of cost, and we made those communities, and the communities became very vibrant. As you said, that the technology changes on a daily basis. The tools, I mean, we just don't use ChatGPT, we go beyond that, we use Gamma, we use 12 feet arrow, we use a lot of other AI tools which are right now available, and they become redundant or they become paid. So our community became so vibrant that they will come back and say that, "Man, this tool is not working right now, but I figured out a new tool." For example, Midjourney. Everybody here knows, I mean, after ChatGPT, the second biggest cousin who is very famous of AI is Midjourney. But then there is Playground.ai where we don't have to spend a single rupee. So that came through technology. Then there was IdeaForce, which came. So there are a lot of there are cousins which came, but that came through technology. That came through community. So for us, the community actually helped internally as well and externally as well for the students. I just request everyone to be silent. Thank you.
Yeah, for me, the most important aspect of AI is we are building a lot of things, and they are so advanced. We still don't know how to accurately measure, because if you are building something and the output of that AI tool is not 100% or even 95% not accurate, it might end up becoming a disaster for a lot of users. So whenever we make sure that we bring something out in the market, we test it. We do all the types of testing which is possible, and also make sure that the data which is getting entered into the system is the right accurate data. We need those data sets, maybe wrong as well, but it's very important to make sure that whatever the students are getting, and especially the teachers are using in their classes while teaching, that is a quality data that we are providing. So AI, for me, the most important challenge that we are still facing is definitely accuracy.
So it's like, when Google was the first search engine, it was not the first search engine. There were a lot of other search engines were there. So, but Google was the most efficient one, or which became the most popular one. So today we are talking about ChatGPT and OpenAI. I think tomorrow we might be talking about something else. So we are in the early phases, so there are a lot of challenges, but what I see is like, how can we have more industry-specific layers which are built over it? Because today it is more generic. So we have to create the real advantage of AI will be taken when there are into the separate pockets of it. Let's say for education there should be something. Maybe sometimes I feel like the whole specific thing, generalization doesn't work. It's all about the specialist today. In the specialist economy, or when you're talking about any specialization in that, there are a lot of data sets which are required where there's an effort of years, because already a lot of years of effort has gone into the OpenAI. Now the effort has to be more towards the specialization, because if you see the ChatGPT performance too, the moment you are talking about anything which is specialized, it doesn't respond because it says that it is not into its domain, and it has its own limitations with those factors. So if people start building those layers, and there are a couple of companies already which are doing it on a SaaS model where they try to create those micro hubs built over ChatGPT itself. In the coming days, we'll overcome those challenges and we'll see more subscription based specialist OpenAI models coming up. Yeah.
I think the pace of technology is a bit of a challenge because things are changing so fast. And there are two more things that I want to talk about is that in AI or any kind of machine learning or that kind of, where machine learns from the data, reaching to the difference between reaching to 95% accuracy to 99% accuracy is huge. You can build something very easily with 95% accuracy, but to make it reach 99% accuracy, there has to be a lot of effort. And I'm not sure how many of the people actually are putting that effort before launching these products. And this connects to the third point that I want to talk about is that we should not forget the user at the center of all the development. There are so many flashy things that are happening on Midjourney, on ChatGPT, and they do so many amazing things. But we should remember that ultimately, whatever we are doing for learners and users. And it has to be packaged in the right manner. It has to be so. A lot of people don't even know that. People talk about large learning models, but there are medium learning models, language models, large language models, and small language models, and they sometimes work better. Like you make not general purpose transformers, you make specific purpose transformers. So these kind of things that people put, and better products come out, which are built keeping consumer in the mind rather than the technology in the mind. So I think it can drive industry much forward.
I'm very happy that we have some time for a few questions. So if anyone has a question, please give your name and whom do you want to address the question to. Anyone?
I want to ask you to Dr. Nitya and anyone on the panel. When we look at India's top universities, let's say top 100, 150, right? So how many universities in India? So 1200 universities. So how many of them are digitally ready to be able to use AI in a deep way? I mean, some are they, how many? What is the percentage? 10 universities, 20, 30?
I'll give you the statistics. I think this is a brilliant question, Anurag. In US, the GER is 89%. And out of this 89% of the GER, 44% is the contribution of the online degree programs and online universities. I don't know if you know the name of the university called Western Governors University. It is US biggest online university. 150,000 students annually.
Because that's what they were the really a vantage point on education and impact on the policy can comment, and I'm sure he'll address that. But I'm talking of in terms of, I know because we spoke, you're building an artificial intelligence kind of platform or a product or service, whatever you want to call it, for universities. They have to get to a certain level before they can embrace.
Absolutely.
That's the question. So how many of them are digitally ready and anybody else on the panel?
I think less than 50 universities in India as of now, if you ask the actual number, less than 50 universities are ready as of now to embrace online learning or being an effective online leader in the market. And that is mainly because, universities, the parameters even led by UGC or the NEP implementation, if you look at it, there are a few factors which are extremely important for them. First of all, they need to be graded, they need to have a NAAC accreditation. Then they need to have a platform which is UGC 4.0 approved platform. After that, there is a system that goes through in the background. So all of it put together, it's a very difficult ball game altogether. So I would say
You have a long way to go if you say it's less than 100.
absolutely, absolutely.
So sir asked a very nice point like digitally ready. The first thing I always say, what is digital ready is the other question part. Because there's always a point like if you're asking someone who is literate, लिखना आता है तो literate है, पढ़ना आता है तो literate है. So digital ready. Most of the colleges when we started in 2016, in US it was very easy because every student has an email ID. To build any B2B product for any college, the first thing is log in with the student email ID is easy. But today, 90% of Indian universities don't have student IDs as such. Let's say because the cost of the email server will be very high, college will not, it's not mandatory. And a lot of universities today do mandatory things rather than add-on things. And second thing, at least today we have at least websites, but I'll ask how many colleges have intranets? There is no intranet for majority of the universities today in India. If you see Blackboard or Canva, back in US you have a lot of colleges. Every college has it because most of them are public universities. Public universities or private universities, so they afford. So it's not a mandatory spend. Second point, last 2-3 years, you see AI course being launched everywhere. But where are the faculty being launched? Suddenly there are universities with only CSE. Let's say I'm coming from South, we have universities without any mechanical or chemical or anything. There's only CSE, AI, only computer science with different forms like others. But the point is, whether they are ready to adopt AI at an organizational level, at least 2 decades. Long way to go, and there's an extra cost. Anything with educational institution, if they have to implement something, why will someone will take it up? Yeah.
If there is no other question, then I think we can wind up. And I'm happy that we are finishing 3 minutes before. Thank you.